This podcast is brought to you by Penji. Penji is a creative subscription service that gives you access to pre-vetted, agency-trained creatives from all over the world. From graphic design to illustrations to social media management and web development, it's all included for one monthly price. It's time to say goodbye to the hassle of searching for top-notch creative talent. With Penji, you get quality and consistency delivered right to your inbox every day, carefully crafted for you by humans. So meet your new creative team today. Head over to penji.co for more and enter the coupon code located within the podcast show notes.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for attending the Fully Managed podcast. Thank you for joining us. Thank you so much, Christina, for coming on today. I really appreciate it.
I'm excited to be here. This is so fun. I'm super pumped for this combo. First big combo of the year, so it's going to be a good one.
Yay. Okay, we're starting the year off with some really good vibes already. I'm super excited. So to start off the fun, we are going to play a game that I've curated for you specifically. So I hope that you enjoy playing. If you don't tell me. It'll really hurt my feelings. I'll be very upset. I'm just kidding. But okay, so this game is called Post It or Pass It. Okay. So I'm going to give you different scenarios in which obviously they're a bit generalized. So, if you had nitty gritty details, maybe you'd change your idea, but just an overarching idea of whether you would post something like this or you would not post something like this.
Okay, love this.
And what would be really cool as an added bonus would be if you would pass on it, tell me what you'd change about it that you would maybe post it if you could,
Okay, cool. Yes.
Okay. Great. Okay, so the first one, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Cool. Okay. The first one is a last minute trending meme that you think fits your brand, but because of the virality of it, you don't have much time to polish it before posting.
Ooh, okay. So trends have been a topic that have been very heavily discussed. Mm-hmm. I think they give you that quick hit of dopamine. I think you'll get some decent engagement on it. If it's already been posted a million times, i.e. when Taylor Swift got engaged, I know that was a crazy thing.
LinkedIn was blowing up with that. I was so surprised to see LinkedIn be the place that I was seeing that. That was how I found out they got engaged.
I know. That's actually how I found out too. So
I was shocked.
I literally LinkedIn is such an echo chamber for trends like that. But honestly, I think in 2026, I'm going to pass on the trends because unless it's super highly relevant or you can really tailor it to exactly if it fits so well and it's wow, this is made for me, I think I'd pass.
I completely understand. And yeah, I think it's if it's a really great fit somehow, it's just perfectly on brand or you think you can twist it in an extremely unique way.
Yeah.
Then maybe, but yeah, I would tend to agree with you that trends are a bit, they're trends for a reason. They're overdone.
And I'm kind of a nonconformist. So there's a part of me that just wants to rebel and just do something super different. I.e., I keep saying i.e., but when the trend with the Instagram sizing, that weird bar that came out, I remember just thinking, what if we reported on it in a super satire way? So I think if there's a way you can make it satire or make it fun without knocking other social media managers down, because sometimes you just gotta do but yeah, I would pass.
I agree. That's a quite wholesome way to put it as well, because I think a lot of people they want to go against the grain so badly sometimes that they end up shutting down other people that are just having fun with it. Exactly. And I think that's negative too,
Yeah, don't knock people for doing it, but then also don't do it.
Exactly. Okay, next one is a vulnerable post about burnout in the social industry.
A vulnerable post about burnout. So my personal experience with burnout?
Yes.
Okay, here's the caveat.
I know.
I would post it. Mm-hmm. I definitely would post it. Unless I was really worried about my boss kind of being, unless you work for a boss that would look at that and see that in a way that was just kind of reflected on your work ethic and reflected poorly, I think I'd really weigh that out per person and what your boss or what your superior thinks about it. Because honestly, it can really go both ways. Sometimes I think it's really, I personally am always on the on the end of like post what you want to post and do what you want to do, because it's important to do that on your own personal page. But it depends on your boss, you know?
Yes.
I would post it. I have a great boss, and he would appreciate me for doing that, because I think it's just vulnerability and authenticity is kind of like what's tracking really well.
Yeah, of course. And I definitely agree with that too, especially like being personal and putting something out there, I think really allows people to feel more connected to you as a person. But yes, I think there are some worries if your burnout is related to like the amount of workload you have, or like whatever it may be. It might be associated negatively with like the company that you're with. So there's things to like, step lightly around if that's like the vibe that you're dealing with at the point in time. But
and I do think there's a way to talk about it without like maybe directly mentioning your company. I think there's a way to talk about it in a I'm not talking about toxic positivity, but there is a way to talk about it that still allows you to be open and vulnerable, maybe without like talking so heavily or deeply into the work that you're doing.
100%, I agree.
Yeah.
Okay. Next one is a hot take that you know will get engagement but may spark debate.
You know what? I'm always for people posting a hot take. My hot take is that hot takes aren't really that hot. I've rarely seen someone say hot take and then write something I disagree with. So if you're going to post a hot take, it's got to be really actually hot. I don't care if it's going to spark disagreement. Don't be inflammatory. Maybe like I wouldn't go that direction, but if it's going to be a hot take, it's got to be hot. So I would post a hot take. It just has to be something people would actually disagree with, because I don't want to see everybody in the comments going, yeah, like same, because that's not a hot take then.
I agree completely. Yes, it is something that I would also add to that, and I'm sure you probably agree with this as well, is that like, don't just post a hot take for hot take's sake.
Exactly.
Like, if it's not something that you inherently like really believe with your whole self, then you're just doing it for controversy rather than like
controversy, engagement. I know we're all kind of desperate to get those numbers in to show our like superiors like, hey, this is something that I did that actually got good engagement. But in 2026, it's all about longevity. It's all about consistency with your audience. It's all about building your niche audience. So if you're going to post a hot take just to get like a new bunch of followers, it's still going to work for you, but like it's not going to maybe be as beneficial to you as like other things that you could post. Exactly. And it has to be hot. It actually has to be a legitimately hot take. So
in for 2026, longevity, real hot takes out for 2026.
Fake hot takes.
Fake hot takes. Inauthenticity.
Also, the word authenticity needs to be out, because everybody says it. It's getting so like, okay.
It's like, how authentic are you?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Next one, and I'll do this as our last one since we're really getting into it. I'm having a great time. Okay. I'm trying to pick up. Thank you. I'm trying to pick which one I should use as the last one. Okay. A post with low production quality, but high, and we're using the word, authenticity. So maybe it's something that you think will really resonate, but it's not polished in the way that you'd like.
This is difficult. I actually think this is a hard one, because I do believe there is value in production quality. I don't think it needs to be like super cinematic. I don't think it needs to be shot with like a DSLR camera. I don't think it even needs to be something that's really well written. But there's something about posting lo-fi content that just is off the bat, something you created really quickly that isn't that polished, that also does really well. Like we all know, we've all had those posts that we've spent hours making, we post it gets no engagement, and then the one that we make like in 10 seconds and we post it just like blows up. So honestly, it depends. I know that's such a cop-out answer, but it depends. It just feels like it depends. I can't say for sure. I'd have to know exactly what the content is, and then I'd be like, I have a good gauge for that, but it depends.
I understand, because there are things about production that would probably contribute to someone not even maybe clicking on it at all. Like, you know, so even if it resonates, or it would resonate, and you think that the audience wouldn't enjoy it. Like, they still need to click on the video or watch the whole video through, and there's certain deterrence in production quality that would contribute to someone maybe not doing that.
Exactly. I think if it has like all the basic elements of a good social post, I think it's worth considering. But at the end of the day, production quality isn't ultimately what matters. It's the story behind it. But hard to know without actually seeing the content, I think. Yeah.
No, I completely agree. I think that makes you a good social poster, because you're really like, you're thinking about all the intricate elements of what makes that. Because if you just blanket yes, you know, like, there are things around quality that really do ensure that something is watched in general, right, or looked at.
Yeah.
Or some people might just think it's spam if it's something that is, you know, really low quality. Oh,
right. There he is. I knew he would do this. Can I just 5 seconds and kick him out? But
yeah, it's totally fine. He's very cute, though. I'm keeping this in for sure.
He's really annoying. This is Derek, everybody. Just so everybody knows, BRB. I'm kicking you out.
It's the orange cat way.
It's the orange cat way. Get out of here. Okay. I'm so sorry. I knew he was going to come in and be super annoying. Okay.
Do not worry. Welcome back, and thank you so much for the cat little interlude. I love cats, so that was fun. And I'm sure the audience will enjoy that.
We all love cats, but man, they can be so...
Simple. Okay, well, thank you, one, for participating in my game. That was really fun, and I think it makes us know a little more about you and how you look at, you know, social.
Yeah.
So, tell us first a little bit about yourself and why you have authority to even talk about this little game. So, walk us through your journey into social media and community management. Like, how you came from your first role into this position. What were some things that happened along the way, like why you think you ended up here, and what you like about it. I guess that's a lot, but yeah, just go on a journey with us.
No, this is perfect, because I think like I've told this story a few times now, because I feel like it's been something I've talked about on LinkedIn a few times, and just a lot of people have asked me, like, how did you get here? How did you build your own personal brand on LinkedIn? And I'm like, you know what? I actually do have I feel a compelling story. But I started in TV. That was kind of like my bread and butter. I've always been into television and story, and that's always kind of been the thing that I've always wanted to do. I've always been into acting. So I was in TV for 5 years, and TV, as we all know, is kind of in a weird space right now. Streaming kind of took over. TV, linear TV as we know it, or broadcast television kind of started dying down. Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay, I need to pivot into something that's going to give me some career longevity, that isn't going to just be one day they're like, okay, TV's no more. You have what's next. Exactly. So anyways, they did cancel the shows that I was on, unfortunately. And that kind of something clicked in me, and I was like, okay, I need to pivot quickly. So then began my long search into social, because it felt kind of like an equivalent journey. It felt similar to what I was doing, storytelling through a video platform, but just on a much faster, busier scale.
Yeah.
So I actually, I searched for a long time, and it's funny because I thought being in TV would give me immediate access into the world of social, which is not the case. It took me about 6 months to find a position. And I found the position by honestly applying through video format. I sent a video in, I showed them my editing skills, I showed them my on-camera skills, and I landed the job. And I was there for about 4 months, I would say. And during those 4 months, I started posting on my own LinkedIn page, because it was a B2B company. And I started posting on my own LinkedIn page because that's what they wanted me to do. And I was like, I didn't even know you could post on LinkedIn. First of all, that's super random. But I would post these comedic skits that were things that our audience, or our target ICP, our target customer, was experiencing. I'd figure out the pain points of the audience, and I'd make these comedic skits that would advertise our product. Video was having its moment on LinkedIn at the time, so I ended up getting 3 million impressions per video, which was insane. And I was like,
that's insane. Even today, I mean, that's insane.
It's never happened again. It's never come back again. So I really thought I was killing it. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm killing it here. As we all know, LinkedIn video kind of had its dip. Everybody was shell shocked, and they're like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do next? That's how I got my start on LinkedIn. And that's actually how I found my now current job at Slate. They found my videos and they were like, let's hire her, which was crazy. So they reached out to me. I did a few interviews with them, and I've been here for the last 10 months, really just starting in the world of content and content creation and figuring out honestly like how to market as a B2B social media person. Coming from TV to B2B is such a jump, such a crazy jump, and I had to learn how to do it. And I'm not gonna lie, like it was such a learning curve. Once again, I came from TV, slow. A lot of things take months to get approval. You have to write the scripts, you have to cast, you have to do all this stuff. So coming into social where they're like, write, film, edit, create a video on your own. You're like, okay, I had 7 people doing this job when I was in TV. Now I'm doing this job all on my own. So that was a learning curve, setting up lighting, writing scripts, all that kind of stuff, but on your own. And then the second learning curve was like also B2B. I didn't go from TV to just like a beauty product. I went from TV to selling a SaaS product, which is insane. So I had to figure out a way. I was like, how am I going to make this interesting for people? And I do think that gave me an advantage because at the end of the day, people that are buying B2B products are people and they want to be entertained. So yeah, I think that's kind of how it really allowed me to step out and be kind of known in this space, because I just honestly was thinking of it in a way of like, what would I want to watch? And if I'm going to watch content or read content, I better be entertained by it or else I'm scrolling past it. So yeah.
I think that's a really great segue, honestly, because I think often, and this is no negative or shade to the average marketer that often gets into the social media position, but I think that often marketers who are in those positions are a very traditional marketing career or brain or mindset, often don't think about that entertainment value sometimes, or like what would really drive someone to watch something, because they're thinking about leads or sales or something and thinking about that drive and not thinking about like, first and foremost, why would someone watch this, or why would someone read this, or why would someone do that? And with your background, you actually have maybe the opposite of like, how do I make this marketing worthy, or like to pass over to that? But you do have that entertaining value, which I think is almost sometimes more important, or at least the first thing that people should be thinking about sometimes, and often isn't the first thing.
Yeah. And I would say on that point too, entertainment is so important, but also authority is like, you can't just go in. There's a lot of brands just purely focusing on entertainment. And I think that's great for like building an audience base or fans. But if you get so far away from the product, which I'm learning now, then it's almost that you create a fan base that doesn't even really know what your product does. So I do think there's a way to entertain but add value. And I think if you strike the balance of both, or like really lean into both at different points in your uploading journey, like that's important, right? So focusing on both is key. And I don't think you can solely focus on entertainment, but it is so important. Without entertaining content, people only have so many hours in the day, and so many hours of those days of that day is spent scrolling. Yeah. So might as well make it entertaining for people while they're already looking for entertainment. So,
exactly. Yeah. Like, and people even in this age of, there's so much marketing out there. Like, you're constantly being marketed to and you're expecting it. It's like, you almost want to, I don't like the word trick, but you almost want to trick people into being marketed to by being entertained, rather than the other way around, because they're just people are already wary of being marketed to and are already like almost adverse to that happening. So you want something that is actually providing value or being fun or entertaining that people are going to stay on and listen to, and then feel like, oh wow, this is a serendipitous moment of that I like this product. Oh, that's cool. Like, that's what people want to feel, rather than like, oh, I'm being targeted.
Exactly. And like, it's like, we're not dumb. Like, I know when I watch an ad, I know when I'm scrolling TikTok and it's an ad, but if it's such a tailored ad to exactly what I'm looking for and it's entertaining, I'm not going to have a problem watching it. So I don't think it's even about like, I know we're not manipulating the audience, but if you can gain their trust and attention and show like I'm worth being watched, this is a video worth watching, even though I'm selling a product deep down under, like we're not trying to pull the wool over anyone's eyes. Like everyone knows they're being marketed to. It's just like, is it worth my time?
Yeah, no, exactly. And like something about your job seems even trickier too, as an element of that, like you are catering to people who do social. So yeah. How does that change as like maybe an average social media coordinator or community manager, like doing that where people are constantly almost on guard of being marketed to even more further because they are marketers? Like how does that change the way you do content, connection, story?
Yeah, that's such a good question because it's funny. I came into B2B and I really just thought a social media manager, I posted about this the other day. I thought social media managers just made content and then eventually someone would want to buy the content. And then I realized this element of community management somewhere along my journey. Community is so important. And the reason for that is because, yes, I'm selling to social media managers. Like that is, Slate is a product for social media managers. So like I said, I'm not trying to like fool anyone with that. People know I'm trying to do that. But I do believe community management is one of the key reasons Slate has been so popular on LinkedIn, is because there's a portion of it, it's like, oh, I really like this person. I like what they've talked about. I should tune in to some of their like webinars or some of their posts. Oh, I'm going to start commenting on some of their posts. Oh, this product actually might be something that helps me. So I'm not here to like be the person that is like, hey, buy our product. You know, sometimes I'll DM someone if that's something they're looking for. But at the end of the day, I'm building community so that one day when they do look for the product that we have, it eventually becomes the thing on the top of their mind. They're like, oh, I know Christina. She interacts with my content. She's pretty cool. I hope so. I hope they're saying this. She's pretty cool. And I think I'm going to look into Slate because it's something I've been already looking for. So I'm not trying to be manipulative. My goal is to build community and really educate social media managers about what I'm learning. Hence why we host our monthly webinars too. Like we want social media managers to like really be educated and learn from each other. And that's also why we created the Slack space. It's like, we want people to be educated and learn from each other. And we want there to be a really good community since we know so many social media managers are so siloed. And when they eventually want to use a product like Slate, we're here. So that's kind of the goal of our marketing team and what we've always aimed for. And yeah, sometimes I'll do a little bit like of DMing work or whatever, just to be like, hey, is that something you're interested in? But I'm never going to outright do that because it just doesn't work anymore. Trust is so important.
Yeah, people need to understand like who you are, or at least feel like they have an understanding of who you are and like who they're associating with a product. Because I think nowadays there's a lot of this like what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of like social proof in relation to what a product is. Like people want to associate your brand with a mentality almost that they align with. Whereas it used to be just, this is a trusted product and I'm just going to use it because that's what it is. But it's much more difficult nowadays because there's so many products and there's so many, like there's so much marketing.
That's the thing. It feels like with AI now, a new product that is similar to us or a new competitor is coming up every single day. But the reality is, because there's thousands out there, the key to that is being the trustworthy one. That being like, there's people behind this. I'm not knocking AI, but like, because we have AI in our product as well. But like, there's people behind this that care about you, that understand your struggle. And here's the product to solve your struggle. And we're here to help you with that. And then once you can think of a brand and a face behind the brand, I think it becomes so much easier to convince yourself of buying the product. And then the other thing I was going to say is also like the easier part with B2B is that you're also selling to social media managers who aren't using their own money. I think there's also this hard thing in B2C or like CPG where you're trying to convince people to use their own money to buy a product. Whereas like this is like companies usually have a marketing budget and it might be easy to get them into that initial conversation because you're not asking them to spend their own money. So there's that part of it too.
No, that makes a lot of sense. And I think that's a really good point to be made, because I think, and it's interesting that you say that too, because I think some people might also have the perspective of like, it's harder to do it that way because it is someone else's money and it's your responsibility of whether that is successful.
Yeah.
But I understand what you're saying, because that is like, I guess I can see both ends of that. Like, if it's your own money, at least you're, you know, quote unquote, wasting your own money if it doesn't work out. But if it's, you know,
and I think there's definitely the con of that too. Like, you are responsible for spending your company's money wisely. But that's like, at the end of the day, we're so confident in our product that if you do initially get into a call with us, we're like, okay, it's just getting them to the call. That's the hard part. But once you get them into a call and they're like, oh, this is what I've been looking for, then bada boom, bada bing.
No, exactly. And like, talking about that personal element, like, so data and results and metrics are obviously extremely important in social media jobs. And I think a lot of people really focus on that sometimes too much, as like, this needs to be hit no matter what, even if it's not something that necessarily leads to the end result, which is almost always sales. That is the actual goal of everything. So like,
isn't it always? Yeah.
Yes. And like, in this number obsessed world, which I genuinely think has not changed even before social media, I think numbers are always something that we focus on a little too much. How do you decide what's important to kind of chase versus when to focus on deeper engagement and like community connection? Because obviously you still need to show results. That's a hard question, because I think I'm still battling with the two. Numbers always feel good. You get a high number on something, it always even feels good to management. Like, you say something got 1 million impressions, that's always going to feel good. Yeah. And no one's ever going to be like, okay, yeah, well. But ultimately, the real results that I've been seeing over the last like 10 months at Slate is like truly building a consistent connection with certain people. So thinking of people as more than just a buyer, getting excited about who they are. There's this person on LinkedIn, I won't name names, but there's a person on LinkedIn, I connected with her multiple times, and like, eventually she wanted to learn more about Slate, but we connected over Stranger Things because I'm such a Stranger Things fan. So it's like, I like her as a person now, you know, like I want to be her friend. And like, yeah, it's cool that a conversation came out of that. But I think consistency in the people that you're connecting with and responding to your comments and being intentional, it's not as hard as it seems. I feel like it's really just being about a human and going deeper on those connections versus looking at the numbers. So yeah, like there's sometimes like I'll keep a list of names and I'll remind myself to check in with them and make sure that I'm checking in with their content and everything. So numbers are great, but I don't think that's always a signal of like what your content is doing. So in terms of a personal brand perspective and a company perspective, just continuously following up with the people that have been in your system and not leaving them hanging. So a lot of that comes from like your engagement rate on your posts. Like you might be getting low impression numbers, but is your engagement rate high? Are people commenting? Mm-hmm. What are they commenting? What are they saying in your posts? Like, are they saying, I love your product, or are they saying, I love this person? Like that is such an indicator of how people view what you're selling. So I think what's more important in 2026 is looking at the substance of the comments and seeing what people are saying and if they are truly excited about your product. And if you're a smaller company, you might not be getting the comments like these big companies where they're talking about the product and like on Reddit threads and everything, where they're actually like, how does this work? It might be more so about the people in your company, but the comments are such an indicator of like what your company's doing in a space. Are people posting about you? Are people tagging you? Like those are people saving your content? Those are the important things that I think we should be looking for always over the numbers. Yeah, I completely agree. It's like, it leads back to kind of what we discussed before of like people want to feel connected in some way. And it doesn't matter whether that's directly associated with a sale or something like that, because when it comes down to it, if people have a good taste in their mouth about a company, whether it's just a person from there or whatever it may be, that is more, that is like so much more valuable than just enjoying one thing that a company posted or something like that. Like feeling like I can 100%. Identify with someone.
Yeah, 100%. And I think in B2B especially, like they are tech products most of the time. Connecting with a tech product is like I'm not going to tell you how much I love Excel spreadsheets. Like but I use it a lot. And that's why I really like how Excel does their Excel competition. They do a competition every year with like the best Excel people. Like that's so cool. Like they found a way to turn a product that is like objectively the worst thing in the world. No offense.
Yeah.
I feel like I can talk about Microsoft because it's like such a big company. They took a product that's objectively the worst thing to use in the world and they made a game out of it, like a literal competition where people could participate in the Excel games. Like that's so cool. Good marketing, Microsoft.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, it is something that like it's also showing that humility of like I can make fun of something or like I can have fun with something that is very serious. Like Excel sheets are extremely serious. Everyone thinks about them in a serious way, but like I have friends that rate movies on them. Like I have friends that like, that's
what I'm saying. It's like find the ways people are using your boring product. Ultimately just a product at the end of the day. Find the stories behind them. Find the ways that your customers are using them. Find the stories that people can relate to and identify with, like you said earlier. And then your product kind of comes to life. That's just the key. Like how can you bring your product to life in stories, storytelling, and through your customers and your soon-to-be customers?
Exactly. I completely agree. And so since we're coming up on time, I want to ask you something a little forward-looking, because that's usually or rather past-looking. I usually do forward-looking or past-looking. But so having this journey into social media from, a kind of a different path than maybe a more traditional, marketing to social media management to whatever. This is what we see often. What do you think you wish you knew when breaking into social media that you think other people should know when getting into this from like a non-linear career path, like from something different?
Such a good question. Love this question because I will talk about this forever. I just read this beautiful article called In Praise of a Meandering Career. And it basically broke down how people that switch careers, like it's not a bad thing. And it was hard for me to come from such a high position in TV, like the role of producer, to like back down to the basic levels of social media management. And like, that's hard. It's like an ego killer for sure. But what I want people to know is that when you do switch into a career like social media, there's so much more than you think there is. Like a lot of teams, unfortunately, only hire like one person. So they end up having to do all the things. But the role of social media manager has also evolved so much. There's roles like content creator or social media manager who actually is in the spreadsheets, or content teams who look at content as a whole and think about YouTube strategy. And then there's people who think about just TikTok. And then there's people who think about just Instagram. And then there's people who do community management, just like I switched into. And it's okay that when you start in your role in social media, that it might not be the thing that you thought it was. And that's okay. Because like the reality is you might be able to pivot into something else. You just might not know what that is yet. And so I think it's okay to hop into a role where you are wearing many hats, even though that might be exhausting, because at that point you get to experience what you really love to do. And I would have never experienced the joy of community management if I was working for a really big brand where I was like a segmented social media person, where I was only working on content or only working on, like Twitter or something. Like I've gotten to experience all realms of social media as like a solo social media manager. And now I can like, as we've hired more people, I can move into the thing that I love to do the most. Or if you're somebody else, you can move into a different career or apply for a different job. Social media manager has so many facets to it, and you're not stuck in one place. And it's okay to feel stuck for a while because there's so many other options out there. Yeah.
No, I really love that mentality because I think that a lot of people can be very overwhelmed when when you're wearing many hats. And I think that in marketing positions, social positions, community positions, that's more often happening than not, that you're kind of a little overwhelmed at times. But it's really a cool opportunity to get to learn what you like. Then if you want to move into a more strategic position where you're just doing that one thing, or you even just focus on that social element at your current position because you know that you're the best at that.
Exactly.
That's a great opportunity to be able to do. And I think that that's a really optimistic view of it too, because I think a lot of people can get really bogged down with the fact that you can be doing everything all at once, and it's terrifying sometimes.
And you know what? That's unfortunately the reality of when you first get into a role in social, that might happen because you're joining a smaller company who requires only one social person. Mm-hmm. But that's the best part about it. You get to explore all these things and then you can move somewhere else if it doesn't work. Obviously, this job market's really hard and easier said than done, but truly, at the end of the day, there's so many career options in the world of social, and you don't have to feel stuck or pigeonholed into one thing just because you tried it out the first time and you didn't like it. You can go into influencer marketing, or there's just so many facets of it. And I just know that it's way more big and broad than people expect it to be, especially coming from not a social space. So
yeah, I completely agree. And I think that was a perfectly wholesome note to end on, because one, I really appreciate how positive you are. I think that this podcast went so amazingly. And the idea that even I think not only people transitioning in their career would really appreciate the mentality that you have, and the advice that you gave, but also people earlier on in their careers if they're thinking about diving into the role like this, because it is in a somewhat similar role, it is very complicated when you have so many things to do and you're not even sure sometimes what your favorite thing is or what you're best at. But there is such opportunity there to be able to learn so many skills and be able to find out what you truly do enjoy doing and what you're good at. And I think that is, when you have a more streamlined role, sometimes that's very difficult to find.
And I will say this before we do end this thing, because I do want to say this as well. It's okay to move sideways and not have your goal to be always moving up. You don't have to aim for CMO or head of content. It's okay to just move sideways for the rest of your career. Don't stress about always trying to move up in your career, because I know I used to stress about that. Moving sideways is okay.
Yeah, as long as you're happy. As long as you're enjoying what you're doing. I think that a lot of people get in their head about I don't know, the hierarchy of things or whatever it may be.
For sure.
If you're happy and you're living by your means, be happy and enjoy your career.
Exactly.
Well, thank you, Christina, so much for joining me. This was an absolute pleasure. I think we share very similar mentalities about work and everything, and it was just a joy to talk to you. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited for anyone to listen to this. And at the end, if you guys hear this podcast and want to connect with me on LinkedIn and get in my DMs, ask me all the questions.
Heck yeah. Check out Christina in the description. You will see her LinkedIn there, and you guys will be able to connect with her too.
Awesome. Cool.
Well, thank you so much. And thank you everyone for listening. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day. And thank you for watching the Fully Managed podcast. Thanks, guys. Bye.